A very good day back to Madam Endang. My name is Muhammad Hanif bin Hussein with ID number of 0104.70 from Group 02B. I will be presenting the title of Low Carbon Development Pathway Towards Sustainable Development in Malaysia in Industrial Sector. This group is consists of Lim Bong Chun, Lin Pei Chong, Martin Tan Tian Siang, and also Mohamed Shifri. With all this said, I will start my presentation for my part. This presentation will consist of overview until conclusion, and each and every part of this will be explained further by each members. For the first one is overview. For the overview, I will be explaining about the current situation in Malaysia. As we can see, that Malaysia is one of the most competitive economy in the world, and it is proven that Malaysia is at the rank of 27. This is due to the fact that this industry is the second biggest contributor to the Malaysia's economy with up to 30% of contribution. This means that this sector produces a huge amount of CO2 into the atmosphere, which is the main cause for global warming. Because of that, we need to revolutionize this sector so that it can control the greenhouse gas emission and to make it more sustainable. Second one is the current practice. In this the current state of the sector in Malaysia is actually in transition phase between IR 2.0 and IR 3.0, and the majority of the total enterprises in Malaysia is actually small or medium-sized enterprise, which only a significant of them are alert with the IR 4.0. This IR 4.0 has the benefit of making this sector becomes more sustainable. We can see that fossil fuel is the biggest energy source to power the whole sector and consists of almost 80% of total energy mix, which is the main of CO2 emission. This is for my parts, and I will pass to Martin to present his part. Thank you.
Greetings, Madam Endang. My name is Martin Tan Tian Siang, ID number ME0104352, and I'll be presenting on the low carbon development strategies. To begin with, I'll actually share on the current situation in Malaysia, where our country is still in the development phase, as can be seen in the increment of the industrial sector. This increment actually prompts the usage of inefficient and also carbon-intensive pathways that increases the greenhouse gases emission. So it's actually important to implement some of the strategies that can help with this carbon emission by increasing the renewable energy usage, to producing products that have great end-of-life management, to manage the industrial sector energy demand, as well as to introduce high-efficient technology. So on the first strategy, it's actually useful for our country, since our country would want to increase the renewable energy and to achieve 40% of renewable energy capacity by the year 2035. And some of the renewable energy that can be used are biomass and also solar to replace the fossil fuels in the generation of energy and also heat production. Other than that, renewable energy also helps with the energy security as well as stability, since it does not deplete like fossil fuels. Another strategy is to focus on the management of the product end of life, and this can be achieved by designing products to be easier to be disassembled, reused, and also recycle, which actually helps reduce the wastage of materials used in creating the product, but which actually saves the cost and also reduce the need of disposing these materials. Another strategy would be managing the energy demand of the industrial sector. As can be seen in the graph obtained from Malaysian Energy Information Hub, the industrial sector actually increases from 1990 to 2020. So some of the possible ways is to introduce new or modernized technology that is actually efficient and is able to conserve the energy use. Another strategy would be introducing the technology of high efficiency, where it actually depends less on fossil fuels for its operation, and it actually has parts capable of filtering pollutants by treating any harmful emission before releasing it to the environment. That's all for my part. Thank you.
This presentation, my name is Lim Bong Chun, ME0104351. I will be presenting about policy and institution for low carbon development. So there are 4 policies that we suggested in our project, which are the 4 fuel diversification policy in 1981, which encouraged the use of energy from more dependent sources such as oil, natural gas, coal, and hydrogen energy for alternative source. Secondly is the National Renewable Energy Policy 2010, which increased the present use of renewable energy resources such as solar energy and biomass fuel in order to contribute to national power supply, especially for industrial sector. So thirdly is the Factory Act and Hazardous Substance Act, which to control the material used in industrial sector and the waste production that have been cured before releasing to the environment. So lastly is the energy efficiency and energy consumption, which is to limit the consumption of energy at industrial level to prevent energy waste. So next, I'll be presenting about chapter 5, prioritization of low carbon investment. So there are two low carbon investment, which are investment of utilizing free available renewable source. So free renewable source are under biofuel, which can be used in industrial to generate electricity. Secondly is the solar energy. Solar energy can be used as to in the industrial sector to create heat for application, and also can be placed at the top of industrial building to generate electricity, just like Tesla factory. And second investment is managing energy in demand and the use of high efficiency product of industrial sector. First of all is introduction of smart meters, which can be used to check how much is the electricity used, and also limiting the energy consumption for industrial sector. Thirdly is strategic regulation and maintenance on the equipment to repair and restore the quality of the equipment. That's all from me. Thank you. I will hand it.
Greetings, Madam Endang. I am Muhammad Shibri, ME010419. So I'll be explaining topic 6, which is identifying cooperation opportunities. So here, the first and foremost, the country must be able to utilize other leading countries' technology and research. What this means is the country must be able to properly build a strong relationship with other successful countries in order to minimize potential problems that we might face upon implementing this policy. Following from that, the government must be able to devise a plan to promote and improve the current approach. From there, the government must be able to provide enough resource like for the investment, research and development, problem solving and whatnot. And then the government must be able to proceed with promoting the study of the policy as well as provide proper exposure to the people of the country. And following from there, my friend will be continuing with the next part.
Greetings, Madam Nujati. I'm Lipei Chong, student ID ME0104273. I'm going to present about the policy implications. So as we know that Malaysia is a fast developing country. So one of the major policy implications for Malaysia's low carbon development will be to replace the fossil fuel components of the industry generation with biogas and biomass energy sources. The country has a lot of palm oil plantations in large quantities. In order to reduce the electricity supply's emission factor and carbon emissions from the industrial sector by replacing it with biogas and biomass energy resources. So for the second one, which is LCC, LCC is low carbon cities. It is a event. LCC 2030 challenge was held among the people and cities, which show in the right figure on the right. So LCC means that a cleaner, cooler, and healthier cities, which is to minimize the carbon footprints of the cities, clear from fuel vehicles, and reduce the pollution caused by industrial sector, which is more suitable for people to live in. So for the last one is involve all the key stakeholders into the plannings. So not just among the people, the government needs to involve all the key stakeholders into their planning and the projects for the industrial sector. This is because the development of LCC in Malaysia is still in its early stage, that it needs more active promotion about it and the uses of green technologies on how they will help to operate the industry sector under a sustainable method. That's all from me. Thank you.
Chapter 8, which is challenges in implementing the policy. So first and foremost, Malaysia potentially does not have the compatible infrastructure to implement the policy. What this means is the government must be able to make amends to accommodate these changes. Following from that, the potential lack of communication transparency. This may lead to the lack of manpower in order to successfully implement this policy. So following from that, for any form of implementation, any big scale implementation, things require significant funding, not just to accommodate the policy, the government must be able to compensate any affected areas that are negatively impacted by the changes. And last but not least, it requires the community participation. The government must be able to educate and expose the people in regards to the benefits of this matter, as well as reaching out to well-known companies to set an example of what this matter would lead to. Thank you.